The alien fleet drifted into orbit around the nameless planet, their massive ships casting shadows over the barren sphere below. To them, it was a place of victory, a site of triumph long remembered in their war records. Centuries earlier, humanity had clashed with them here. The battle had been brutal, a storm of plasma and fire that had lit up the void for days. And when it was over, the humans had lost. Hundreds of their ships were shattered, wrecked, left adrift in silence around the planet, like broken bones scattered across a grave. The victors had never bothered to clean it up. Why would they? The humans were no longer a threat. Their fleets had been destroyed, their colonies abandoned, their name fading into myth in the wider galaxy. The wrecks remained, circling endlessly, a reminder to anyone who came here. This is what happens when you challenge us. Now, the alien commanders arrived with a new generation of soldiers, eager to show them the relics. The fleet's admiral addressed the crew over the comms, his voice heavy with pride. "Behold the graveyard of the humans," he said, gesturing to the derelicts floating in orbit. This was their fleet, their strength, their arrogance. Now it is nothing but dust and rust. Remember this lesson well. Those who rise against us are buried here. The younger aliens laughed, their voices echoing through the channels. They mocked the rusting hulks, pointing out their primitive designs and scar holes. Some sent drones close to inspect, circling through shattered airlocks and broken weapon batteries. "Pathetic," one soldier sneered. "Their ships are barely more than floating coffins. How did these savages ever think they could rival us?" Another chimed in. "They look like relics from the Dark Ages. Weak, ugly, dead." The admiral allowed the laughter, pleased by their arrogance. He wanted them to see humanity as he had seen them in his youth, foolish, stubborn, and easily crushed. But one officer remained silent, watching the derelicts more closely. He noticed how many there were, hundreds of ships, not scattered randomly, but spread across orbit in strange patterns. The formation was too neat, too deliberate. It was as if the wrecks hadn't drifted aimlessly, but remained in position, as though they were waiting for something. He frowned, adjusting his scans. "Admiral," he said cautiously, "their arrangement, it's unusual." The admiral laughed. "Superstition. Space currents, nothing more." But the officer couldn't shake the unease crawling along his spine. Something about those hulks felt wrong. They were ancient, yes, but still intact enough that they hadn't collapsed completely. The scorch marks were deep, but many hulls remained sealed, their weapon systems silent yet strangely undamaged. Then, as the alien drone circled closer, something stirred. A faint signal, so faint it was almost lost in the static. The officer's console lit up with a whisper of code, old Earth transmissions encrypted in formats not used for centuries. His heart skipped. "Admiral, I'm detecting activity." The admiral dismissed it at first. Residual static. Ignore it. But then, across the graveyard, the lights came on. One by one, the derelicts began to glow. Faint at first, like dying embers reigniting, but growing brighter with each passing second. Engines that had been cold for centuries hummed with power. Weapon batteries shifted on rusting mounts, aligning with mechanical groans that echoed across the void. The aliens froze, their laughter dying in their throats. The officer whispered, almost in awe, "They're powering up." The admiral's eyes widened as his sensors confirmed the impossible. The wrecks, the broken, drifting relics, were not dead. They were sleeping, and now they were waking. This is not possible," he stammered. But it was. Across the orbit, hundreds of human warships came alive, their cores blazing with ancient fury. Systems long thought destroyed were activating, running on backup, reactors buried deep within armor hulls. AI subsystems, silent for centuries, flickered awake, recognizing the presence of an enemy fleet. One of the younger soldiers screamed over comms, "They're ghosts!" But the officer shook his head. "Not ghosts. Guardians." The alien scrambled to respond. "All ships, prepare for combat," the admiral barked, his voice cracking with fear. "Destroy them before they—" But it was too late. The graveyard moved. The derelicts, once drifting lifelessly, now aligned into formation with terrifying precision. What it looked like wreckage was in truth a fleet in waiting, silent sentinels bound to their final mission. The humans had not abandoned this place. They had turned it into a trap, a graveyard fortress disguised as ruin. The first salvo came without warning. Rusted cannons roared to life, spitting streams of plasma and kinetic rounds that tore through the alien vanguard. Their shields faltered, collapsing under the weight of firepower that should not have existed anymore. Ships exploded in blossoms of flame, the laughter of moments ago replaced by screams of panic. The admiral shouted orders, but his fleet was already falling apart. The humans' warships, ancient but relentless, fought with a unity that no living crew could match. They did not hesitate. They did not fear. They did not retreat. They were machines bound to the memory of humanity's rage, awakened by the presence of their enemy. The officer stared in horror as the wrecks closed in, encircling the alien fleet. "It's not a graveyard," he whispered. "It's an army." The admiral's pride shattered. How is this possible?" he gasped. His calm crackled to life, but not with alien voices. A human voice, old and distorted by centuries of decay, echoed across every channel. "We warned you. This war was not over." The aliens fired back desperately, but their weapons were met with counterstrikes from every angle. The battlefield became a storm of fire, the silence of centuries replaced by thunder and death. The aliens realized too late that the humans had planned this from the very beginning. Their defeat all those years ago had not been an end. It had been bait. The wrecks had been left here not as reminders of weakness, but as a promise, a snare hidden in plain sight. And now the trap had sprung. One by one, the alien ships fell, burning and broken. Their wreckage joined the orbiting ring of steel. The admiral's flagship shuddered under the onslaught, alarms wailing, systems failing. He slumped in his command chair, eyes wide with despair. "It was never a graveyard," he whispered. "It was waiting." As his ship tore apart in the fire of human guns, the last thing he saw was a fleet of ancient warships, glowing with vengeance, circling in unison like phantoms. And somewhere, deep in their coated cores, the memory of humanity lived on, not dead, not gone, but watching, always waiting.